I didn't, well,
It's
uh,
okay. It's okay.
I didn't think to put up the sign. I don't know. I felt like this was a loosey goosey kind of
Yeah, it's a loosey goosey show because, you
loosey
know,
goosey.
it's impromptu.
It was sort of promptu.
Yeah, kind of. But this is the Pinfall Podcast. I'm stealing your intro.
Oh, come on.
You're going to have
Uh,
most of the reign with what we're talking about because I didn't take any notes.
oh, I hate that you tweeted. I had a good tweet.
Oh,
The tweet included the fact that we were shooting the shit.
well, you can quote tweet with that. Um, but this is not a WWE product. This is AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view, as most of you probably know. Oh my god, we had a fucking show and a half. Both in terms of quality and length. This was a long show. Very long show.
What the fuck?
What are you doing?
Cat is playing with something, and I don't know what it is, but I just heard like a very weird, like slinky sort of sound.
Oh, there's a lot of toys down below you, I know that.
No, it's neither of those.
Okay.
It is. What is this? Ah, it is the piece of paper I kept over my laptop screen that is now covered in hair.
Cool, good to know. Alright, so this is Full Gear. Um some highlights, the whole show. Well, most of the show.
What the fuck was this fucking? Oh man, oh Manischewitz, huh?
Obviously, the biggest highlight is Hangman Adam Page is now the AEW World Champion, beating out Kenny Omega. And this is what it feels like for when a championship changes hands, like an important championship, not the WWE Championship. This feeling will happen when the Universal title gets switched over, if
Yeah,
it's to the right person.
I think that's kind of the beauty of this is that it's like there have been so many times where Kenny's reign felt shaky.
Right.
That, like this didn't feel like it was almost a year long.
Yeah. Also, Sean Ross Sapp is tweeting about the media scrum, so I'll be
Oh, yay.
conveying a lot of that. And Bryan Danielson's there to talk about it. So that'll be some interesting stuff. Just to kick off, Bryan Danielson talks about fatigue and how it makes cowards of us, but Eddie Kingston gets fatigued and doesn't slow down. Bryan Danielson calls a finishing move a relatively new thing in wrestling. Danielson was thinking, please don't die during his match with Suzuki. I should only read the important stuff. Tony Khan doesn't want to announce the date for Danielson versus Hangman yet, but wants the biggest matches possible regardless of face and heel. Oh, you mean like actually booking a match? Oh, that's funny. But yeah, fantastic show, fantastic show. Do you want me to do like a little nutshell, or do you want to just jump right into it?
I mean, we can just jump right into it, I guess, because I
Okay.
mean that's sort of what we're gonna end up doing anyways.
Yeah. Um. So we started off with the buy-in, obviously. Wasn't there something like before the buy-in match?
Dante Martin.
Right. So Dante Martin comes out. I didn't write any of this. This is gonna be all from memory.
No, to be fair, I also no, I did take notes a little bit for the women's buy-in. Okay.
Hmm. Um. But so Dante Martin comes out and he's asked about his decision about joining Team Taz, and before he can say anything, the Acclaimed comes out. They rap on. They like Caster starts rapping at him. Tells him, mentions 15 retiring 15 times. Um. And then asks him to join. It's like, if you insulted him so many times, why would he say yes to joining you?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I've got my own feelings about Max Caster, but like, you're not like the best approach.
Dante immediately starts attacking them as Team Taz is watching from one of the suites. And yeah, that's really that. They might be setting up maybe getting Darius Martin back in the swing and getting Top Flight against the Acclaimed.
So this was a question that you and I both had because we weren't sure of this. Do we know if Darius is actually cleared?
I don't know.
Wrestle.
But he posted at least one picture on Twitter kind of teasing something. Yeah, so I could imagine Leo Rush being the manager for Top Flight. That'd be pretty cool. They need a good mouthpiece.
I feel like Leo's trying to be the new Big Brother, so I don't know if that's gonna work.
He's trying to be the new Big Money Matt. But
it doesn't seem like he's leaving room for Darius in the Top Flight situation, if you will.
Once they announce that Trio's title, there will be room for Leo. But I think this is gonna be awesome because I mean, before he joined with MVP, the best thing for Bobby, like the best era in Bobby's career, was when he was working with Leo Rush, in my opinion. So anyway, after that we then had the buy-in match: Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. That's who it was. Again, I'm working off of memory here.
So Serena Deeb is ringside for most of this. And basically Shida gets the shit kicked out of her for 90% of this match. Thunder Rosa was in for the beginning. I don't remember seeing her too awful much in this match. Because also my notes are not the same notes that I normally take. My notes were just like, at least for the rest of the matches, it was like, there's a funny thing that happens here. Here's a big move. So, but yeah, she got the shit beaten out of her for a lot of it. At one point, Shida got covered I think she was in a submission. She went for a rope break. And Nyla Rose comes out of fucking nowhere with like this like flimsy little, just like a little kick. I was like, Nyla, you're doing jack shit right now. Thank you, though. When she gets in, though, she slaps Rosa, who's on the apron, and she comes in kind of hot. But then Shida kind of does a Bianca move, which annoyed me. Because I don't like when wrestlers are made out to be kind of like dumb. Not dumb, but like just distracted in the sense that like, I don't even want to say distracted, because like there are distractions where it's like, okay, I get it, fine. Like I get why this affects the match, but I don't like when wrestlers are like so distracted that like, and distracted by something that's already been established earlier in the match, that they're like that they get fucked over by it.
Yeah.
So Shida gets distracted by Serena. She kind of starts talking shit at her. Vicky Guerrero, who's obviously there for Nyla, comes out of nowhere, hits Shida in the back of the leg with a kendo. But the match basically ends when Shida flings Nyla into the post and then hits her with a jackknife cover to win. This match was a banger. I don't want to like discount this match at all. This match was really good.
It was.
The ending was just kind of like, the ending just did not quite hit the mark, and that was only because that last move did not slap just the exact perfect way.
It was a buy-in match. You know, it's what you could expect to at a buy-in or a pre-show, that kind of thing.
Wait, why am I'm Matt Jackson here? I should be doing something else.
What are you doing?
She's doing something else tonight.
I don't know what she's doing. Oh no. You're gonna cover up the Matt Jackson hair. You're covering up the Matt Jackson hair with the hat.
I gotta. Well, actually, I've got to take the Matt Jackson hair down. This won't work.
There you go. It's like if Matt Jackson supported Paige.
If.
Yeah, if.
If.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty decent match. Very much a buy-in, like a high-tier Dynamite match.
Before we get too far into this, we were supposed to have a guest tonight. It did not work out, but we will eventually have said guest in the future. It's a friend of ours who's a big wrestling fan. It just did not work out tonight, so we will have a friend in the future.
And let us know if you would like us to have guests on the show. Maybe do like an interview type thing with some maybe wrestlers potentially.
Yeah, the guest that we have is a friend of the show, a friend of mine and Mark's. And what we will probably do will be a themed weekend show, where we'll talk about. I think we discussed a couple topics. I don't want to pigeonhole us to one just yet, but we discussed a couple topics, so it'll be more of a chit chat, if you will, a fireside chat,
as most of these shows are.
like a fireside chat that's not about a wrestling show. How's that?
Okay, fair. All right, so
I thought this match was good.
Yeah, it was decent. It was, like I said, it was like a really good Dynamite match.
Yeah. I'd still like to see more women in the pay-per-views, but
yeah,
ain't the fucking truth.
I'm sure once that TBS title is won by somebody, there'll be more matches.
We'll have 2 women's main event, or not main event, but like main event matches.
We need more women factions. That's what we need.
You need more women's booking.
Yeah.
Partner.
So should we get into the start of the show?
Yeah, I didn't know how much time you want to spend on the buy-in.
I mean, were there any notes you wanted to go over, or is that?
I went over my notes.
Okay. What was the first match? It was fantastic.
Jiff versus Darby.
Oh, MJF versus Darby. Fucking amazing match. This was like, oh my god.
What match for you did not hit? Like, what was like outside of the buy-in? Because I don't want to include that. Of the main event itself.
Uh-huh.
What match specifically won? Not like hit for you.
Did not hit.
Yeah.
Well, let me go to my lowest rated match. I think we can all guess which one it is. It's Inner Circle versus American Top Team.
Yeah. I have 2 matches that did not hit for me.
Was it that one and that was the buy-in. Was it Andrade and Malachi versus Pac and Cody?
No.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was?
What was it?
Hate to say this.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Eddie and CM Punk?
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. Miro and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. It did not click for me.
Well, we'll get more in depth once we get to it, but Miro should have won.
Oh. Maybe not my take, but
that's my opinion. Miro should have gotten the rub from Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson could have taken that loss and been fine. Miro should have won, been the first challenger for Paige, and holy shit, that would be something.
So I know what matches I didn't quite love. All the matches were good. Let me start by saying that. All the matches were good. There were just some matches that the way I did tonight was because I didn't feel beholden. I took notes on what caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
and the matches that have very little notes just did not catch my attention at all. And there were a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was still bomb-ass pay-per-view.
And
you know what the thing is that, like, I feel like a lot of times, and I don't want to start doing this right now, but, like, I'm going to sort of, AEW pay-per-views, I feel like I go into them and I'm like, this is gonna be so much fun! WWE pay-per-views, I'm like, oh, we gotta do this, so...
It's the difference between monthly pay-per-views and quarterly pay-per-views. And it's not any difference in terms of quality of the company or anything, or quality of the shows. It's just one happens so often and can't be hyped up as much as the other one.
That's absolutely true. So, do you want to talk about MJF versus Darby?
Yes, this match fucking rocked.
We start by talking about the goofy-ass video package of Darby
wrecking a car.
What the fuck was that about? I thought it was going to be like, I really, in my head, and I think this is what WWE would have done, because they love these kinds of things. I thought that Darby was going to, like, do this weird-ass shit and then come in on that car.
You thought the same thing with Adam Page and the horse.
It just won the fucking horse. To be entirely fair, a car and a horse are two different things. I totally understand why they did not do the horse, because the horse, there's no reason to subject a horse to an entire stadium of people. Yeah. There's no reason.
And horses are.
I've watched a horse get spooked by a man in a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a horse in a stadium of people, that has to be a horse on, like, fucking ketamine.
Yeah.
I understand why they didn't do that. I do. As much as, like, the aesthetic is, like, sterling.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they didn't do it. The car, however, will not get spooked by people. I thought it would have been really cool if Darby came in the car. But anyways, we got a full video package of Darby Allin just crashing his car, I guess, and then coming out being like,
he set the car on fire with fake MJF in it. He fucking hates MJF. He did a stunt.
I can't stand Darby Allin. So this match was very much a anything you can do, I can do better match. Which makes sense. They're supposed to be part of the four pillars, or as JR called it, the
four pillows.
This is just narrowly resting on my fucking head.
It doesn't look that bad. It just looks like you have a tall head.
Yeah, I just want to take my Matt Jackson hair down.
So let's jump right into the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, most of my notes are just kind of things I thought were funny. For example, MJF screaming into the crowd, "You love it, fat boy," as Darby flies out onto him.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was that about? That was goofy. Darby also tried to hit a coffin drop onto the apron, which does not work because MJF fucks off. And Darby hits spine first into the apron.
And then doesn't move. And I'm like,
he just died!
I'm like, okay, think of Darby what you will, but did he just paralyze himself right there?
I was like a little worried. I was like a little nervous at first. Also, Darby gets fucking lifted up. You hear a gentle, "Oh shit." And then MJF drops him down across his fucking knee. I was like, his spine has taken enough, Maxwell. This
whole pay-per-view, everybody was so vocal in the ring, and it was amazing. I love when wrestlers are vocal. Because if you're in a fucking match, of course you're gonna shout shit. You're gonna shout, "Oh shit." You're gonna be like Hangman and yell at Kenny, "Is that all you fucking, or is that all you got, motherfucker?" Like you're gonna yell stuff, and I love it. You never hear people yell that much.
Oh, this was a loud fucking pay-per-view. This was a Bobby Fish pay-per-view, okay? Everyone was loud and everyone was swearing.
You could also call it an FTR pay-per-view.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, I can't wait to get to that fucking match.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So Darby gets hit with a brainbuster also. And the only thing I could think of was just, by God, that man is broken in half. Good Lord, Darby was broken in half. Um, so MJF also hits a double stomp off the second rope that snaps the arm about, and it made like an audible noise. Like, and I think it was just the foot connecting with the arm. It made an audible noise, and I was like, um. We also get fucking my favorite genre of move, which is wrestler has already hurt X, Y, and Z body part and then does a move that fucking injures that body part further, which was the tombstone pile driver to Allen on the apron. And then MJF just fucking rolling off like, fuck.
If there's one thing to get from this match, one thing at all, out of everything, it's that MJF is amazing at selling.
It really
he
is.
Sold that knee injury through the entire match. And he wasn't just like, cheesy holding the knee and moving around a lot when he was when he was mobile. No, he was consistently vocally selling that injury, and every move affected it. MJF is fucking unbelievable.
I think like that's the thing is that like, yeah, maybe like screaming and yelling is like a bit much, but like it does sell it. So
yeah.
Also we get a coffin drop onto the floor, and the fucking Darby hits a code red that I thought was it. I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the fucking match.
Yeah.
But then we get another coffin drop in the ring, which goes right onto MJF's knees. Both men at this point are fucking dead. And then, as you would expect, somebody's going to come out. Somebody has to come out.
Yeah.
Who comes out? But Sean, first of all, okay, so we don't see everybody come out all at once. What we see is Sean Spears dooting down the fucking ramp, just having the time of his life. He's like, I'm ready to do some business. Out of nowhere, we see Sting with a fucking baseball bat. He takes out Sean. Turns out he's already taken Wardlow down at the top of the ramp. We didn't see that shit.
Also, I'll mention this after the match. Howdy, partner.
I'm a cowboy bobblehead.
I'm a cowboy bobblehead, baby.
I want me a cowboy, baby.
Anyway.
You haven't seen that fight, you should. Anyways, so at this point, MJF he's in the ring with Darby. He's got Darby's longboard. He's inviting Darby to DQ the match with the longboard by smacking him in the face. And the entire time Bryce is like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Like, I'm standing here. I see you. That's not legal. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Darby thinks about it. He can't do it because he's just of such a moral fucking fiber.
Because it's what MJF wants. Because that's part of the storyline. MJF said Darby cares more about hurting MJF than beating MJF. And so he knew, he had a feeling Darby would want to cause pain rather than win the match. He wanted that moral victory.
I don't know. I just fucking hate it. Darby Allin. But so Darby's like, oh no, I can't do it. And he gives the board back to Bryce, and Bryce goes to discard it. And as Bryce goes to discard it, MJF pulls his little fucking diamond ring out and fucking checks Darby and wins. As he should have. And I think if there were not 400 matches on the card tonight, I think we would have got more low turning on MJF tonight. If this were a WWE product, that would have happened tonight. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. It would have happened tonight if it was WWE, but I fucking love this match. It would, however, have been a 10 out of 10 if MJF hadn't won with the ring. If he had just gotten a cleaner win. Thank you, National Pokedex, for the follow. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast.
You know what? He might have a product for you.
Well, we'll shout it out after the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just hate like distracted wins, stuff like that. Cheating wins.
I hate this.
This one obviously works because it's MJF. But I would have liked it. I could have liked it more. You know, I could have liked the ending more. Everything else was out of this world. But what I was gonna say before was that this was a pay-per-view where there were no surprise debuts. There was Jay Lethal, who wasn't even like really like a surprise. He like kind of just came out and like was interviewed. But there were no like surprises. There were no betrayals. No big grand moments besides Adam Page winning the belt. And yet this was on the same level as All Out, in my opinion. And that's what happens when you really prioritize amazing wrestling, because that's all this was just amazing wrestling. There were no surprises. There were no grand moments.
You know what's funny? There have been so many I hate to do this, I really do, but it's just where my brain goes, and I apologize. Because we do a WWE show, so I feel bad doing this, but there are a lot of times with like WWE pay-per-views where I'm like, well, if so-and-so or this and that doesn't happen, it's gonna be just a bummer. And oh my god, you know what I just realized?
What?
WWE is kind of like the smart mark of wrestling, whereas like, because like AEW kind of just gives you what you want, which sounds boring on paper, but like in practice is actually quite awesome.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. WWE knows what you want and then flips it around.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like on paper, giving you what you want doesn't always sound like it could be the best option.
Right.
But I've never really been disappointed by getting what I wanted, because the story to that point was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously, if you're tuning into this, you probably know how tonight ended, and it's what people wanted.
Yeah.
It's the same way that like when CM Punk was debuting, everyone was chanting CM Punk in the beginning of the show, and they just said, "Here he is." Fun.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole show was just focused on fantastic wrestling, and that's what professional wrestling is. Regardless of whether or not you say your company is a wrestling company, your product is still wrestling at the end of the day.
And listen, I've got my own opinions about everything that's going on in between the wrestling and the companies, but like this pay-per-view was just good wrestling, dude. This was just fun. This was fun as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next up was the AEW tag title match, right?
Yes, it was.
All right, Lucha Bros versus FTR.
Okay, the Super Ranas.
Yeah. Another amazing match. Like this one was just fucking great. So fucking good.
We talk about Fenix just appearing.
So at one point, Penta.
So wait, real quick. Mm-hmm. The fucking walkouts were amazing. For Lucha Bros. Yeah, they do not disappoint. Obviously, nothing will top. All
Out.
Nothing will top that. That was incredible. That was like fucking. But they had like a little thing today. They had a little thing.
I think it
Yeah,
was for
Alex in the
Veterans
fucking
Day.
ring, just like hyping them up.
Yeah.
Yes, it was for Veterans Day. It had camo and the military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was for Veterans Day.
It was I think it was the Mexican military. Because they had
Was a
like the
Mexican
Mexican flag, yeah. Morgan Smith said he ugly cried.
It was honestly, so after All Out, I was like, well, they're not going to be able to top that. And obviously this did not top that, but like they still had production value to this walkout. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So at one point we start with Dax and Penta. There's a lot of roll-ups to begin. At one point, Penta's kind of like starting to talk shit towards Dax and Cash. And then, out of fucking nowhere,
It looks like Phoenix fell from the ceiling. And that just shows how much fucking air he gets when he jumps off the ropes. It is insane. But like,
the best part is there's some bitch in the crowd, some lady who's very close to some sound equipment, who screeches
at everything.
everything. So all you just hear is screech Phoenix.
But anyway, the rest of the match was just as insane.
There was one part of the match that I did not appreciate, but like,
which part was that? Was it the end?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
So Penta and Phoenix kind of go like they're about to annihilate Cash until Dax saves his little ass, which is like the sweetest part of Cash and Dax is that like they're like just best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that they don't fucking shut up. They're so goddamn loud.
Yeah, and it's so great. Vocal wrestling is the best.
Literally, there are so many times where like Cash is calling for Dax and Dax is calling for Cash, and I'm like, best friends.
Yeah.
They go to double suplex Penta, but Phoenix saves him because, of course, there's only love in tag team wrestling. Cash ends up tying Penta's mask to the ropes. Rick Knox unties it.
Yeah.
It's like a big move for Rick because Rick is like of not fucking noticing shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, Rick, turn a new leaf. Get a very white Sarah Miedo from FTR.
Well, no. It was Zero.
God damn it.
FTR is the best.
Oh man. So Cash goes to take Phoenix off the apron. Phoenix is way too quick. He ends up distracting the ref. So the ref doesn't see Penta tag out. So Phoenix is not in. Penta is still stuck where he is. When Phoenix does get in, there's a AAA belt to the face of him. It nearly ends the fucking match, and my God, was I squirming. I was squirming at this point. I was like, oh, this is awful.
I wouldn't have put it past Tony Khan to have FTR win just for that heat in Mexico.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, at one point, they start chanting, like, fuck you, Tully, or something like that. You just hear Dax shout, shut up, asshole. I was like, oh my God, who the fuck are we?
Yeah, this is so good. It's so fucking good.
FTR is looking for the big rig, but instead Phoenix just fucking spirals Cash out of the goddamn way. And then Tully holds on to Phoenix's leg. Fucking nightmare. And then this was the part that I didn't really appreciate because, like, obviously, so there was a lot of Eddie Guerrero talk because we're in Minneapolis on the day that Eddie Guerrero died in Minneapolis. Now it's a thing. Very upsetting. And, you know, Vicky Guerrero came out and apparently they were chanting Eddie, and, like, obviously that's nice. Yeah. Then the part that just didn't quite ring comfy to me was, I get it, they're heels. They're supposed to be doing heelish shit that's going to make people very unhappy because that's just FTR and they don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dax like kind of mocks Eddie Guerrero and like starting to do the Three Amigos, and I was like,
But here's the thing.
I understood why he did it.
It was
That's a real dude who fucking died.
It was for more than the heat. It was to make Penta look better because he interrupted at the third one and got all three in, put him over as a face even more. So
it totally made sense. It totally made sense. It was one of those moments where I was like, are we doing this? Are we really doing this? Okay. I just didn't like it. But of course, Penta does interrupt. Well, because Penta is the one who's being suplexed. Penta counters. He ends up doing the Three Amigos way better. We get a Viva La Raza from Fenix off the top rope. Just not enough, though. I thought that was it, though. And I was like, so Fenix, God bless. Penta holds on to Dax as he's like about to go into the pile driver. Fenix goes off the top rope again. Goes off of like Daxie's ass onto Cash. Get the pile driver to Dax from Penta, and both brothers cover. It is still not enough. I was like, wait, why are we both covering? And then it just kind of got like the plot got lost a little bit for me. Where Cash puts on the Super Rana's mask.
yes, it was to confuse the ref so they didn't know who was who because commentary.
It didn't really seem like Rick fucking cared.
Yeah. He thought Cash
was just
legal.
like, there's a man in the ring and he's getting pinned. 1, 2, 3.
I wonder if this will force a rematch. With a stipulation of some kind, cage match, something. But regardless, this was so fantastic. Two of my favorite tag teams in wrestling. Incredible.
Yeah, this was it was a good match. And again, I mean, we're gonna say that for I think just about every match.
Yeah.
I did really like this match though, because this match had me like fucking sitting in my seat. Like in my head, I was like, no, it makes sense. Lucha Bros are winning. There's no way in hell that they're not winning. Then you made your fucking comment about, well, this would make FTR bigger heels if they won, and I was like,
yeah. Some quick updates on the media scrum.
ooh, yay.
Let's see. Let me go back to where I was. Bryan Danielson says he saw the best doctors to come back and says his health is constantly improving from where he was. His priority is to be a father and be coherent. CM Punk said that he likes to fuck with people in regards to teasing the 5-knuckle shuffle. Tony Khan says Leo Rush will hopefully be back this week. Apparently the Young Bucks were the ones who brought Top Flight to Tony Khan. Dante Martin says having a match with Arya Daivari was special because he had a hand in training him. Tony Khan confirmed Jay Lethal versus Sammy Guevara on Dynamite. And Jay Lethal said he feels the doors are closing in Ring of Honor and feels for those without jobs. The deal came together a few days ago with Jay and AEW. Punk didn't know Lethal was coming in until he saw him today.
And that was something that somebody else said, that like you gotta imagine that the situation at Ring of Honor is bleak right now, because if Jay Lethal, a lifer at Ring of Honor, is signing with AEW, it feels like, you know, the band is playing out.
Yeah.
On the sinking ship.
Yeah, of course.
You know, there is always that hope that, you know, what'll happen is Ring of Honor will come back and they will be better than ever. And this is just like a weird moment.
I
It
think
doesn't feel like it is that.
I think they need to rebrand from having contracted talent to just showcasing indie talent. I feel like that would be the best use of their platform, and their best use of their production budget at this point, because they're not given much of one, and that's part of the reason why they haven't been successful.
Real quick, it wasn't. I could be wrong.
What?
Wasn't Yeah, no, because they're run by Sinclair, which is like fucking a piece of shit company. Like, that's Fox News, I think.
The problem is that they're owned by the media outlet as opposed to having a partnership.
Right. I know. It's a shame.
But anyway, let's return back to the pay-per-view. What do we have after that? Oh, it was Miro and Bryan Danielson.
Right. This match just didn't quite hit for me.
Like I said, in my opinion, Miro should have won.
I don't think so.
He would have been a good person to give Danielson his first loss. And it would have really put him over. It wouldn't have put Danielson under in any way. You just love that hat, don't you?
You did.
It also could have been longer. But there were some really great spots in it, and they're continuing the storyline that Miro's weakness is his neck. I thought both guys were just phenomenal in their performance. Yeah.
Danielson started this match with a fucking bruises.
Yeah.
And bruises go on his face.
Mm-hmm.
When did that come into play?
Probably him versus... Who did he fight last? Suzuki. Fought Suzuki on Rampage. Oh no. Who did he fight last? Who did Bryan Danielson?
Suzuki, because he was fighting in... Had to have been... Was it Dustin?
It could have been Dustin. Let me see who his last opponent was. Rocky Romero. It could have been from him or Anthony Bowens.
So yeah, Danielson has like a massive bruise, and he really can't break through Miro for 90% of this match. I mean, a lot of this match was Daniel Bryan looking like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna get used to calling him Bryan Danielson. Just not how my brain works.
I wouldn't say looking like shit because...
No, okay, so looking like shit is not the right word. Getting beaten up is a better way to describe it. He didn't look like shit, he just was getting beaten up a lot. Everything he was doing was getting countered.
National Pokedex with their first time chat says Shades of JR saying Daniel Bryan. And with the cowboy hat too. Oh no.
God. And also the 4 pillows. The 4 pillows of
Again, another JR mix up. Oh,
Tony,
boy.
forgive me.
We got our own JR in the house.
I've had a couple of beers, I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't the first one. It's not even the 5th one. It probably is. So, anyways, Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, that's not even like what I was trying to say. Also, I called him Brian with an I in my notes.
There are worse mistakes.
Yeah, I guess. Miro at one point started looking under the ring. I didn't know what that was about.
He was faking everyone out. he was playing with the crowd a lot in that match.
Okay.
He was pretending like he was gonna grab something, but he didn't need anything. That was his whole thing.
The announcers were like, "Oh, I don't know what this says about Miro's and focus in the match," and I was like what do you mean? Basically, a running knee ends up getting Brian a little bit of leverage. He looks straight up fucking eviscerated while doling out punishment to Miro. He ends up getting out of, and I knew the name of this like yesterday, and I don't remember it now. What is Miro's fucking submission?
It's the game over.
Thank you, Jesus Christ. He gets out of that.
He shouts game over. To be fair, oh wait, no. Well, he got out of it the first time because...
He got out of it, but also Miro didn't quite lean back with it.
Yeah, Miro didn't lean back the first time, and the second time, Danielson just rolled through with it, so he didn't get locked in.
Right.
Still kind of protects the game over.
The winning move tonight was the DDT, but it was not a good DDT.
Look, it's a DDT from the top rope. First priority is safety. You can't do a DDT from the top rope without botching it in some kind of way, because otherwise someone's getting brained.
I'm just saying. Daniel Bryan's foot landed first.
What did you say? JR?
Guys, please. Damn, JR. But Bryan Danielson's foot landed first, and then about 5 minutes later landed Miro's head. So it wasn't the best finisher, but Bryan Danielson does win the match at the end of the day. So
yeah, and Adam Page versus Danielson is going to be an incredible match.
I really think that Adam Page versus either Danielson or Miro would have been a good match.
Yeah, personally, I would have preferred Miro, to be honest. Just because I love Miro and I want him to be fucking pushed to the moon. He is incredible.
I don't think that we're at a point where Adam Page would be able to take on Miro and protect Miro at the same time. I think that Miro would have to almost be jobbed out to make it a convincing loss. Yeah. Because Miro's kind of formidable at this point, and he's got a very select amount of like moves, like signatures, that I think were he to fight I gotta put my laptop in. I think his finishers are still so protected that it would be a bit itchy.
And none of Adam Page's signatures affect the neck at all. He wouldn't be able to do any of them on Miro.
Buckshot lariat.
Not really. I feel like he would do a buckshot lariat, and Miro would just no sell it.
Does the buckshot lariat not affect the?
It's the
neck?
chest.
Yeah, I guess so.
And he can't do what's the driver he does? No, not Tombstone. What's the name of his finisher?
Hang on.
Why can't I remember it? I remembered it during the match.
Page finishers.
Yeah.
Deadeye.
Deadeye, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to do that on Miro. I know that for sure.
I think Miro's just kind of one of those right now where it's like kind of got to be careful, and I don't really know if they're gonna know exactly what to do with him besides make him non-title picture. Oh.
Yeah. But I thought this match was so good. I thought it was so great. And
shouldn't tweet so much.
yeah, I guess I saw it more as like Bryan Danielson figuring out how to take down a massive dude like Miro. Because he's only fought like normal sized people.
Yeah.
Nobody the size of Miro in AEW. And he hadn't been overpowered before today. But I still think he should have lost. I've got another update on the media scrum. Jay Lethal apparently had planned to be on Ring of Honor the rest of his career. His dream opponent is Chris Jericho. That would be a great match. He will not be at Final Battle, Ring of Honor's last pay-per-view before they close their doors.
Really?
Yeah. And Tony Khan said he won't comment on speaking with any other Ring of Honor talent. So that means he has been speaking with other Ring of Honor talent. Hopefully Jonathan Gresham. And hopefully Brody King. And hopefully Danhausen. Everyone. Just everyone on that roster.
Danhausen have to break his leg when he did.
Apparently he's got an iron rod in his leg now. He said he's good enough to do his finishers.
Okay. So can I really quickly say? No offense, but sort of offense. Fuck NJPW World for making me think that I couldn't watch Battle in the Valley on their streaming service. I can.
Yeah. You can watch in Japanese on their service, but English is on Fight TV.
I'm literally looking at Okada and, oh my god. Buddy Matthews looks fucking scary.
Does he?
Oh. Yeah. Sorry, that was I was being kind of a dickhead just to see if it ended.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, no, it's live now. And I was like, well, you could have told me that when it was fucking live. When it started being live, the first time.
Also, Adam Page is up for the media scrum now. He said this is one of the biggest moments of his life, and nothing beats people losing their shit for it.
I've lost my shit.
He says he's lucky Tony Khan gave him time off, and he was away longer than he anticipated. He and his wife had planned a family for years and realized there was no right time. There's just a time. And I'll give more updates after the next match.
That makes plenty of sense, honestly, because, like, isn't that how life always is, where you're just like, you've planned to do these things. It doesn't work the way you planned it.
Yeah.
Just do the thing.
So what happened next? What was the next match?
The next match is me trying to figure out what I'm doing. Next match is Falls Count Anywhere.
Super Click versus Christian and Jurassic Express.
Let's talk about outfits first.
So,
what?
Super Click, all pink and black. And the Jacksons, the Young Bucks, dyeing their facial hair and their hair too pink.
Not sure how I felt about that one.
It was a choice. It was
option, yeah, sure.
But they washed it out to appear later.
Well, I think it was, so you can do this thing that's called, like, chalk. It's like hair chalk. You just, it's just, like, kind of got, like, a lot of dye in it, and you dye your hair with it. But I'm sure that's what they did. Also, you can probably brush that out really quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to see something. I was just trying to see something. But yeah, so I didn't dislike this match. I just didn't get that great of notes on it. I think that's because I was trying to enjoy it so much.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I think this feud was weak to begin with, and Adam Cole was the only thing that really made it special. But if this wasn't a like kind of a anything goes false count anywhere match, it wouldn't have been as fun. It wouldn't have been interesting at all. And some feuds just need that. They need like that violence in there to kind of elevate it. And I'm glad that they kind of noticed that about some feuds. If this was a normal match, it would have been just like a Dynamite main event or something, like a Rampage match. It's been so weak. It's been so weak.
Yeah.
But this was fun.
I suppose. So at one point, one of my favorite points was Jungle Boy got a chair, because of course they had several thousand chairs set up for this particular match. Jungle Boy was sitting in a fucking chair after doing some shit and just like feeling good about himself. He was just sitting there like a big man. Then you get a fucking shiny wizard straight from Cole, right across the face, and I was like, buddy. Oh.
Little did he know, little did Jungle Boy know what would come later and the horrible feeling he would get in his mouth.
So there's a suplex to both Bucks from Luchasaurus, a trash can to Luchasaurus's head, and then one to the back of Jungle Boy, and then a third time after Jungle Boy goes to dive out of the ring, because he dives out of the ring 3 times. He gets a third, on the third time he gets a trash can to the head. Then Cole blades like it is the fucking end of the world. He is covered in blood.
I don't think he bladed himself. Because while Adam Cole is like kind of out of the ring, the camera is like at the bottom of the ramp facing that side of the ring, and Nick Jackson is nowhere there. Nick Jackson is nowhere on the ground there. And we go around the corner to see Adam Cole. His head is under the ring. Comes out all bloody, clearly bladed. And then we see, back on the side towards the ramp, Nick Jackson rises up from the stairs. Like right next to the stairs. I swear to God, I think he was under the ring, like he snuck under and bladed Cole for him because he was in WWE for so long and hadn't bladed at all.
I don't necessarily think that was exactly what happened or the logic behind it, but I do think that there is a chance that Nick Jackson helped Cole blade, because it's not every day that you get a blade job that's that bloody.
Yeah.
Usually I feel like blade jobs are pretty weak.
I mean, look at Punk's. Punk was really bloody.
It was really bloody. But I don't know. There's a chance I don't think Cole quite did it on his own.
Yeah. I definitely don't think he did. Considering Jericho, Chris Jericho, with his match with Nick Gage, needed Aubrey to blade him for him, and that was in the middle of the ring.
Imagine just like turning to somebody and being like, "Can you just cut my head open real quick?" Yeah. Just a little helpful thing. So at one point, Jungle Boy is given the chance to get the concerto. Christian gives him the chair, says, "Have at it." Jungle Boy hesitates and doesn't get the chance to. And I was like, because the concerto is a very like violent thing to do.
Yeah.
I feel like we saw a new page in Jungle Boy tonight. You know?
Yeah, in a sense, I think.
Jungle Boy ends up sending Cole through a table, and then an elbow drop from Matt Jackson sends Luchasaurus through a table. And then we get a tornado DDT from Christian to one of the Jackson brothers. I don't remember which one. I think it was Nick. it wasn't the point of who it was, because the person who landed on the ladder was Christian. It was vile. It was a vile fucking moment. I didn't like this at all. Ultimately, what ends up happening is Matt Jackson is the receiver of a concerto from Jungle Boy, because Christian sets him up again, gives him the chair, and says, have fun, and this time Jungle Boy doesn't say no. And I think we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the Jungle Boy heel turn that we were expecting.
I think it's a Christian heel turn. I don't think it's Jungle Boy.
I don't know, because Christian always kind of struck me as a tweener, and by a tweener I mean an adult.
Mm-hmm.
In that Christian always felt very real to me. Just based on the fact that it doesn't feel like Christian's like a good guy or a bad guy. He's just a person.
The way I see it, he's like the same as Adam Page, where he always does what's right. He knows what's right, and he always does that. Not like the Jungle Boy kind of face, where he's like young and just, you know, like straight from a TV show or a movie. But I think Christian is more likely to turn heel, just because Jungle Boy is the person coming up. He is a pillar. And I think that having him face Christian heel would put him more forward up that ladder.
So, okay, here's my thing. Here's how I see things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Try to bear with me, because I don't really know exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going from abstract concepts here.
Okay.
Christian's this guy.
Yes, he is.
Christian's this guy who's like neither. He's not a good guy and he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy. Marco Stunt doesn't count in this equation because we haven't seen Marco Stunt in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying this from the perspective of we have not watched Dark or Dark Elevation in a minute either. So, if he's been on that, then fine. But we personally have not seen Marco Stunt in a minute. I think because they don't assume that everybody that watches Dynamite watches Dark or Dark Elevation, I think that what we've seen is a good enough indicator. Luchasaurus was kind of the father figure, but Christian has come in as the new father figure because he's much more powerful, he's much more vocal, and he's much more like, you're doing this, I'm doing this, we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Luchasaurus is like, well, I'm just going along with shit. And the only person here who seems to have a malleable personality at this point is Jungle Boy. Because Jungle Boy's young and Jungle Boy's still coming up through the ranks in the sense that he's still figuring out who he is. And I think that giving the concerto tonight put him closer on the spectrum of like, here's like tweener and here's superface or babyface. I don't know what I'm fucking saying. Babyface, and over here is like massive heel. I think Jungle Boy is here for a bit. He watched Luchasaurus hit that fucking shooting star press and he said, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit the concerto.
Yeah.
I think Jungle Boy is becoming more of a person as opposed to just this baby face.
And I think he's gotta if he's gonna face opponents on his own.
I think Jungle Boy is going to separate from Luchasaurus soon.
I don't know about that.
Or okay, how about this instead?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jungle Boy's going to turn on Christian.
Yeah.
I think Luchasaurus will go with Jungle Boy, actually. Now that I've said it, I think Luchasaurus will go with Jungle Boy because I think Luchasaurus is like, this is my boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Christian is going to be the face going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and maybe it's just me, but the concerto just feels so violent. It's just because chair shots seem so violent to me. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I get a vibe. I just get a funky little vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I think he only did the concerto because it was out of revenge, because they did it to him, last week, Rampage or something.
I'm not saying that's not like with reason. I'm just saying that also at the same time, I think that doing the concerto, because it was something that he missed out on doing halfway through the match, something that he succeeded in doing at the end, I think that turned a page.
Okay.
Also, Buddy Matthews is still wrestling in the torn up shorts. I hate that. Because that means that was his choice.
It's a good thing. I like those.
I hate those shorts. I hate them.
I like those a lot.
I feel like Elaine with the fucking toupee. I hate these things.
All right. What was the next match after that? Pac, Cody versus Andrade and Malachi. This was
went full Loki.
Yeah, this match was. Oh, you mean with the entrance gear? Yeah.
With the gear.
Yeah. These people.
I did not hate this match.
Yeah, I didn't hate it either. But get these people away from Cody, please.
Yeah.
Get on.
Cody was the bummer of the match, dude. He's
got to be though. Like that's how you should do the self-aware Cody heel thing, or the unaware Cody heel thing.
I was gonna say, it doesn't seem like he's aware. So Pac also refuses to work anything but black again, which is fucking fine. It's 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 fine. Fine.
Okay.
At one point, one of my favorite points was Andrade. He was supposed to kind of have like a I can do the same shit that you're doing moment. Except he kind of got like a little scribbled up in the ropes. He was like kind of like the intention was to like kind of like flip over the ropes onto the apron. He got like a little stuck. Yeah. He was kind of like on his back on the ropes for like a hot minute. Which I just thought was really fucking funny. This was Cody started the match. Pac ended up slapping the shit out of Cody. Pac and Cody hate each other. Malachi and Andrade ended up hating each other. Pac sent both Andrade and Black to the outside of the ring before hitting them both with the acai moonsault. We also got Glock Anderson back, which was fun. He attacked Carlos. And sent Carlos. Who am I fucking
Jose?
Jose. Hey, howdy.
Woo.
Right. I'm looking at my notes. My notes are wrong.
Oh boy.
But he fucking goes after Jose with the gun. Jose just runs to the fucking back. Jose doesn't fucking spend time.
After Arn pulled the gun on him? How could you not run back?
You're right.
But Arn shot his gun. Jose no-sold it. It was pretty fucked.
That was actually not cool. That wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Pac ends up wanting out of the fucking ring, but Cody's like injured. Not okay, quote unquote. Like acting like the little damsel in distress.
I mean, somebody even came to check up on him, make sure he was okay.
Do you think he was actually injured, or do you think he was like fucking around?
No, I think he was fucking around, because I think this feud might turn into Cody versus Pac, and you're not listening to me right now because you're paying attention to Battle in the Valley.
Matthews is a face.
Did you hear anything I said?
Did.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
We're supposed to watch it together.
I know. I'm not watching what's actually happening. I didn't see shit.
Mm-hmm.
I promise.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I heard what you said.
But I think this is gonna be Cody and Pac in a feud. Hopefully it's Cody and Pac. Because Pac could do either heel or face. And the storyline would flow very well. Pac's mad about Cody not really helping him out in the match. Did Cody and Pac win? Who won?
Yes.
Oh, so never mind.
But, well, okay. So, what happens is Cody fucks around ringside for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Cody decides he's up on the fucking apron. He's stomping around. He's like, I want it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, buddy. We get a reverse suplex to Andrade from Cody once he gets in. And then Malachi sends Pac into Cody, dragging Cody into the path, which sort of solidifies that this is not going to be like a future friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pac hits the Black Arrow onto Andrade to win. We then have Cash coming through to avenge Dax because Pac beat up Dax earlier in the last week.
Yeah. And then we're probably going to get Cash versus Pac. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't vibe with this match so much. I think it's just because I'm tired of Cody.
I think we're all tired of Cody.
And
I think the thing is that it doesn't even feel like Cody's like doing his own feuds anymore. It's just hang around.
I mean, his feud with Malachi, I think, was great because Malachi got the moral victory on Cody. Yeah. But like, did he? Because Arn's still with him. Arn's still with him, and nothing really changed, and nothing really changed with this match. You know, it felt pretty pointless. I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. And they could do a whole lot more with Cody's story in general.
There's literally, if they would just let Cody turn heel, there's so much they could do with him.
Let him come
Cody
out
would
as
just
Stardust.
Okay. Never mind. I'm not going down that path with you. I'm not holding your hand on that walk. Sorry.
Stardust.
Oh.
So to give another update on the media scrum, Adam Page says what they wanted to do 2 or 3 years ago might not have remotely matched what we saw tonight. So much changed because the world changed. COVID. Adam Page doesn't want to reveal what he said to Kenny in the ring after the match. Now Tony Khan is on the mic for the scrum. He said Chris Jericho was always planned to be the first AEW champion over Adam Page, and he knew long ago who his first 4 champions would be. And that's Jericho, Mox, Kenny, and Page now. And he said the Rampage would be adjusted to whatever time slot it's in and work the kind of cards it would need to draw the numbers TNT want. Yeah. That's interesting that they're kind of just like going with the flow.
Yeah.
I mean, you have such an extensive roster that I feel like you can really just do whatever. As we've been seeing with, with Mike Seidel being injured, they've been just adapting really well to that.
I mean, with Darius being injured too.
Yeah, I just meant more recently.
Oh yeah, no, I just feel like the Darius injury has actually only just been recently like played with. You know?
No, because Dante's been also tagging with Matt Seidel.
More so, I mean, they're playing with the fact that Leo seems to want to be like, this is my boy now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas also, yeah, best wishes to Leo Rush. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
You have missed. Oh, that was the other thing that like rubbed me the wrong way about the Acclaim. The Acclaim were like being mean about him, and I was like, dude's like gone through some shit right now. So like, please be nice. Like, we're all still people at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
So, what match was after that?
Britt versus Ty Conti.
Great match.
Yes.
Didn't love the ending. Ending was kind of shitty.
I honestly, I don't quite remember the ending. I guess I didn't write that down.
Rebel and Jamie get involved.
Okay, well, let me go through the match and then you can us up on the ending. So there's an air raid crash right on the apron. I made a point in my note to point. I made a point in my notes to make the point that I was just watching, and not quite taking notes. So, but there was an air raid crash right on the apron that like kind of made me very jumpy. We get a Ty KO. Britt stomps Ty into the stairs while the ref is distracted by Jamie and Rebel. Then back in the ring, she stomps her again. And I was mad because Excalibur called it the one last shot. Like,
I think she's done it before, though. Oh, no, she's done the Panama Sunrise before.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, we all know what the one last shot is.
Yeah.
It's not a stop.
It's the last shot. The last shot is Cole's thing. The one last shot.
No, the one last beat, isn't it? Is that Johnny's thing?
The final beat.
Final beat.
One final beat, I think.
We can all tell Elizabeth's brain is 100% in the game right now. I got 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, no, one way or the other, the last shot is not a stomp.
I'm gonna confirm actually. I'm pulling up her signature moves. Finisher is curb stomp. Yeah, doesn't have a name.
Right, because it's just the stomp.
Yeah.
So Ty ends up going up top. She moonsaults onto Rebel and a Hater. There's a side slam to Baker, who escapes the moonsault, and then the DD Ty, and then the ending.
She actually has the last shot as one of her finishers.
Is it a stomp?
Was it a stomp that she did when they called it one last shot?
Yes, but we know what the last shot is.
Right. I just don't remember it being a stomp when it happened.
I vividly recall. Scala recalled stomp the last shot, and I was like,
okay,
that's not what that is. But yeah, so we end. My last note is the DD tie. And obviously that is not where that ends because Britt wins.
So I don't remember a ton that happened, but I'm gonna try and go from memory. So Jamie and Rebel distract Ty and the ref, or maybe just Ty, and then Britt goes in for the lockjaw and wins. That's basically it.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, The one thing I'm holding on to is the fact that I think once Britt loses the title to Thunder Rosa, I think
Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was wrong. National Pokedex, thank you. It wasn't the lockjaw. She rolled her up. That's why the crowd was pissed or annoyed.
Yeah.
She just rolled her up.
The lockjaw sounds like a good ending to the match.
Yeah. Ty wouldn't let the lockjaw happen.
Okay, I do recall that. I think once Britt loses the title to Rosa, I think that's when we're gonna see Jamie turn on her. I think at the very least you can hold out hope for that much. Jamie's not gonna be around for much longer on that side of things.
We'll see. She is supporting Britt though.
Slightly.
She doesn't do.
It's not Rebel. That's for goddamn sure.
She was yelling in the match. She was reacting. She was emoting.
Still refuses to do the DMD thing.
All right. So, what happened after that? After that was Eddie and CM Punk, right?
Right. And I was watching this a little too closely. It was a bloody match. Eddie slapped the shit out of Punk, and the only other note I have is that Kingston did the GTS motion and then did the jacking off motion, and that's all I've got from that match. But I did really enjoy the match for what it was. I think it could have gone for longer and been a little more important than it was.
Yeah, I think it needed like 10 more minutes. But it was basically just a brawl, and that's all this needed. Eddie should have won because this is basically the John Cena CM Punk feud back in WWE. But with the roles switched, and Punk is in the role of John Cena. And with Punk winning, he's essentially like people compare him to the New York Yankees. Like they're just a legacy at this point. And that might turn Punk towards the more heelish role, or just a way to get faces to feud with him. It'll be very interesting where this takes Eddie in the future. I really want to see where he goes from here. And I want to see if Punk is gonna go for a title or something, or just kind of chill out in the with everyone else in the mid card.
I don't know. I do wonder what Eddie's gonna do right now, because I think the world is really open for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of paths he could go down, and I think that's the one fun thing about AEW is that right now I think you don't have to worry about like who's gonna be next for Eddie. I think it's just gonna happen. I think Eddie's just going to like find someone else to yell at.
I think he's gonna stay on Punk though.
Think so?
Yeah. Unless they bring in Kenta into AEW, but I don't think that'll happen for a little bit.
I really thought that Kenta was going to come out at the end of this match. I really did. In my heart of hearts, I really thought so.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought this match could have done with like 10 more minutes, but that's really it.
I don't know what happened.
What?
I don't know. That was the wrong way to say that.
Okay.
Bronson Reed came to Battle in the Valley.
Oh.
Battle of the Valley. Yeah.
Wow.
He, I guess, is challenging Moose? Question mark? Well, that's exciting. I guess Fightful reported on that. That's so fucking exciting.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. You.
Another media scrum update.
Ooh.
Tony Khan says it's dependent on the situation, but AEW is taking care of talents when they need personal help. He's supportive of people taking time off if they need it. Tony Khan says Jay Lethal didn't ask him about Final Battle. Tony said he wouldn't have necessarily said no to it. So that is almost entirely a Jay Lethal decision to not go to Final Battle. Tony Khan says his father bought the 4 seasons from a Saudi man, not the government, and is not comparable to WWE's ongoing relationships with the Saudi government. There is no ongoing relationship with the Khans and the Saudi government. He wanted to clarify that. Tony Khan is hopeful for some more integration with DC in comics and on screen. Interesting. Tony Khan says Chris Jericho was... Oh, wait, that's already been reported on. Renee told Tony Khan that Moxley is doing better every day. Some of the AEW wrestlers have promoted the book for Mox while he's out.
Good.
Yeah, very good. Good to hear Mox is doing better.
I'm glad we ended on that note because that's a good note. Yeah. The other points of that update were very confusing and very strange, but I'm glad that Mox is doing better.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to take out of that.
All right, so next we had Inner Circle, the American Top Team. It was a fine match. It was fine.
What the fuck was the beginning of this match?
I guess they thought, I don't know, they wanted to start it off like it was a normal match without street fight rules, but it just felt confusing because they spent like, I don't know, it felt like 10 minutes just in normal tag rules.
It was a 10-man tag for a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then it evolved into a street fight. There was the Purple Rain insignia that they used. There was a toaster. Dan Lambert was hiding a steel pipe in his jacket, even though he didn't need to hide it because there's no DQ.
Andrei Arlovsky was assisted with a lot of the spots, obviously because he's an MMA guy, not a WWE or a wrestling guy. Same with Junior Dos Santos, but he took a lot more bumps than somebody of his experience would. So good for him. Dan Lambert took the pin.
Yes. Jericho. Woo!
So Jericho pinned
brain.
Dan Lambert?
Yeah, my little brain keeps wanting to say Jericho.
Pretty expected.
Right. It wasn't a shocking match by any means.
Sammy Guevara had a sick moonsault off of the ladder, like a giant ass ladder onto Scorpio Sky on the table.
Yeah.
But my favorite moment. So somebody knocked over a barrel or can or something, and out came a football, and I was like, it would be fucking great if somebody just hurled that football at somebody. They just did that out of nowhere. And later in the match, Santana and Ortiz get up. Scorpio, Sky, and Ethan Page, I think it was both of them, in some kind of like weird submission, some really cool tandem offense. And they're holding them in that, and in comes Sammy Guevara holding the football and just so fucking happy, hurls the ball at Scorpio's chest. Or Ethan's, I forget whose it was.
Scorpios. It was Scorpios.
It was perfect. That was the one spot I wanted in this whole match, and we got it.
Yeah. And it was a very weird setup for it. Like, I didn't understand. Like, it was like sort of a cheerleading pyramid in the sense that, like, I didn't know who was supposed to take the hit on the end of it. I don't.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a very very weird submission, but looks
And
cool.
it was an emotional win because obviously Jericho was feeling a certain way about the fact that they were in Minnesota and,
Yeah,
uh, on the heels of Eddie Guerrero. Um, so as much as I
he
don't like Jericho, I'm glad that he got to have that moment.
he gave
Um,
his own tribute to Eddie with the Viva La Raza and Frog Splash. Um, and I think he's the only one, or one of the only people. No, he's not the only one, but one of the only people on the AEW roster who has personal experience with Eddie Guerrero. I know Punk has had one or two matches.
Mind you, it was it's quite personal experience.
Yeah,
At first, I didn't quite remember it, and then I did. But you know, I don't like the man, but I'm not going to discount the pain that could have caused him. So I'm just going to say that I'm glad that he did get his time.
yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm glad this feud, I think, has hit its peak. I'm glad that this feud is over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this feud to continue. I'm tired.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Tired.
good feud to begin with. It didn't start getting interesting until towards the end, when on Wednesday we actually got a promo that was how this feud should have been going. But with that said, this match was decently fun. Great on Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky for taking a lot of the bumps and assisting in a lot of the spots for Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky, who don't have any experience in wrestling.
It definitely did not feel like a match where I was like, oh, these guys are fucking like lost.
Yeah,
You know? It definitely felt like they were at least able to hold on to the expertise of the other people in the ring.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm glad that they kind of finally fucking took the cue of like, why the fuck were you doing a 10-man tag? You know?
yeah. Before we move on to the final match, another update on the media scrum. Um, Tony Khan says that Lance Archer was there tonight, and it was not a neck, or it was a neck injury, not a head injury, and he passed concussion protocol. And also Tony Khan says that the format for the Owen Cup might not be what people expect, but he's excited to tell us more on TV.
The what?
The Owen Cup, Owen Hart
Oh,
Cup.
sorry. I thought you said own, like OWN.
No, no.
Did not hear the E in that.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
I'm thinking maybe it'll be like a G1 kind of tournament.
That'd be sick. Be sick as fuck. I'm always a proponent for a G1-esque tournament.
Mm-hmm. And also Tony Khan speaks very highly of Ty Conti.
For Ty.
All right, and so now we have the final match: Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship.
Right. There's a lariat to Kenny. Kenny threatens the buckshot lariat at one point. He doesn't end up doing it, but I was like, oh my god, you little bitch.
Just
I swear to
crawls in the
God.
ring then.
Ooh. There's a massive moonsault onto Kenny. We go up top, nothing ends up happening. A springboard Liger bomb. That fucking oof. There's so many moments with this fucking match where I was like, you guys need to have necks at the end of this. You gotta remember that. You gotta come out of this with like 2 necks each.
Yeah.
Neck each, rather. Um,
You will each get 2.
well, they might need them. There was a release German suplex to Kenny that fucking nasty. We get a Tiger Driver to Paige, and then an Avalanche Blockbuster to Kenny. Ultimately, there's a failed V trigger, but a rolling elbow hits Kenny, and then a pop-up powerbomb. We get a buckshot lariat into Paul Turner, the referee, because Kenny throws Paul Turner in the way. Aubrey, however, comes out. She goes to fucking count the pin. It's definitely 3. Her hand almost definitely smacked the mat the third time. It wasn't 3, but fine, whatever. There's some knee strikes to Paige. He catches the V trigger, though. Paige gets the one-winged angel. And then the reverse buckshot. And then the Bucks come out. The Young Bucks come hobbling on out. And you're like, oh, no, 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 no. But at one point, Nick is on one side of the corner, and he looks up at Adam, and he doesn't do shit. He just stares at him. Then on the other side of the ring, Adam ends up over there. Matt Jackson looks up at him. And all Matt Jackson does is nod.
He nods with the puppy dog eyes.
Nods.
Yeah.
Just, that's all he does.
And this is gonna spell danger for the Elite.
I stopped taking notes at that point because he just nodded.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yeah, he nodded. Adam Page went for the buckshot lariat. Became the new world champion.
Just nodded.
Yeah. This could go down in multiple ways going forward. A couple ways I see. One of them is Bucks are cast out, or rather, Bobby Fish tells Cole and Kenny, hey, this is what happened in that match. Because Bobby was conscious. Kenny and Cole, they were too beat up to have watched anything. But Bobby, he could have been there watching the whole thing and be like, hey, you see what Matt Jackson did? And they cast the Bucks out. Bucks are now their own thing. And then we have the Elite, which is Kenny, Cole, and Bobby Fish. Or here's the thing. Matt Jackson was on one side of the ring.
No,
Adam
it's not.
Page.
That's never gonna happen. That will never happen.
Let me finish. Matt Jackson was on one side of the ring, right behind Adam Page. He nodded to him. On the other side of the ring, right behind Kenny, was Nick Jackson. Not necessarily participating. This could mean a breakup for the Bucks. Possibly. I think that's the least likely option, but there are hints that can point towards that. But regardless, either way, the Elite is definitely going to be reshaped in some way. But who knows?
A lot of people have been saying that what's going to end up happening is the Bucks are going to go with Adam and they're going to leave Kenny. Kenny's just going to be kicked out of the Elite. I think that's what's going to happen.
The thing with that, though, is I don't see the Bucks going with Adam Page because Adam Page is with Dark Order.
Adam Cole.
I don't see that either because this looks like a heel move from the Bucks. Cole is like so far gone down the heel path. I think Cole would turn on the Bucks.
I don't know. There's like Matt Jackson nodding is going to be in my head, I think, for the next few months. Just first of all, fuck the Young Bucks, fuck Adam Page, fuck Kenny Omega for being so goddamn good at storytelling. Fuck them.
Or
so fucked up.
Or good job, guys.
That too, I guess. It's so stuck in my head.
Great match either way, though. Really fantastic.
It was incredible. And this is the thing that I think AEW lucked into, is that the the fucking storyline that goes between Paige, Kenny, the Bucks, Adam Cole, even Bobby Fish at this point. The storyline that goes between them, that thread runs so fucking deep.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like fucking elephants of human beings. I mean, fucking Paige wore the same shirt that he wore when he cost the Bucks their title shot. Like, these people remember shit so well.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that AEW lucked out, because this is just going to keep getting deeper and darker and just more. I mean, once the Adam Cole shit comes to light, once Adam Cole's like, "Oh, you killed me?" Like, I just, ooh, doggy. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, so that is our Full Gear recap. Stay tuned for our review. We're going to pick the bests of the night. But before we get there, if you have a question for a question segment, leave it in the chat and we'll get to it once we're done with the bests of the night. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment and we'll get to it in the next episode. If you're listening in the audio realm, join us at the live show to talk to us live and ask us whatever you want. All right, so, but also before we get to the bests of the night, we've got to go over the top 10 wrestlers.
May we remind you, if you're new to the show, the top 10 wrestlers are 100% done by statistics and not by our personal opinions.
It's ELO rankings. It is based on win-loss and matches being weighted.
It is literally, people forget this sometimes. We do not put our opinions into this whatsoever.
Right. All right. So, and a lot of changed after today. So, number 10, new to the list, an AEW Women's Champion, Britt Baker. Number 9, one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions, Doc Gallows. Number 8, the now only the AAA Mega Champion, Kenny Omega, fell down one spot.
Like, Kenny, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Mega. Number 7, Darby Allin, fell down one spot. Number 6, he doesn't have a title either. Josh Alexander fell down 2 spots. Number 5, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. She went up 2 spots. Number 4, the WWE Champion, Big E. He went up 2 spots. Number 3, one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Riddle. Number 2, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. And number 1, the United States Champion, Damian Priest. That's our top 10 update. Also post a new version on Twitter as well. Tomorrow, at some point when I'm not working or doing something. I'm gonna be busy all day tomorrow. Fuck me. All right.
It's okay.
Let's talk about the best of the night. There's no promos.
Okay.
Wrestler of the night. Normally, I would have a list of all the wrestlers that I picked, but I don't have anyone this time because I didn't take notes. But oh God, let me give you some choices for wrestler of the night. Kenny Omega, Adam Page, MJF. Let me see. Anyone else? Why am I should just go through the fucking matches. I think, yeah, those three. Kenny, Adam Page, and MJF.
Okay.
Kenny?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with you. Alright, so match of the night. As always, I go from the worst ranked to the highest ranked match, and Liz will say if she agrees. There's a lot to go through today, so I'm going to be quick with these. With a 4 out of 10, the worst match, Inner Circle versus American Top Team and Men of the Year. It was, it was fine. I don't know. It took a while to get the street fight actually started. Felt there very awkward. Next up with a 5 out of 10, Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. It was a decently fun match, Not mind-blowing. Not bad. Next up with a 6 out of 10, Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black versus Pac and Cody Rhodes. That had some fun spots. It was pretty fun to watch. Didn't provide much in the way of storyline or anything, but it was fun. Enjoyable. Next up, 7 out of 10, Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk. Definitely needed more time. This was everything it needed to be, except longer. Next, 7 out of 10, Ty Conti versus Britt Baker. Would have been so much higher had the ending not gone the way it did. Felt so cheap. But it was still very fun up until then. Next, 7 out of 10, Super Click versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. It was a lot of fun. It definitely needed to be a hardcore match, which it was, and that's why it was a lot more enjoyable than it could have been, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think there wasn't much in terms of intensity with this feud, so it kind of fell flat in that regard. But the match itself was very fun. Next up, 8 out of 10, Miro versus Bryan Danielson. I thought this was a very fun match, very killer. Seeing Bryan Danielson learn how to take down a giant opponent like Miro, especially when he gets his second health bar, I thought that was so much fun. Yeah, and Miro just overpowering somebody like Bryan Danielson who's just trying to go for grapples. It shows the weakness in Bryan's technique. And next up, 9 out of 10, FTR versus Lucha Bros. Super fucking fun. This was an extremely fun match. I thought this was like outstanding. All these guys are incredible wrestlers. This was an extremely fun match with great storyline and everything going for it. But the ending just felt a little bit weird. Just a little bit weird. Like I don't know why they made that decision. Next up, 9 out of 10, MJF versus Darby Allin. This was incredible. I fucking loved this. This was just close to perfect. If you weren't impressed by MJF before, you have to be after this match. The dude's outstanding. The only thing I didn't love about it was the ending. Felt like a cheat finish, but I couldn't really imagine any other way to do it. And then, finally, match of the night for me. With a 10 out of 10, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship. This had emotion. This had intensity. This was paced extremely well. And this made up for all those all the lack of storyline going into this, or the lack of promos hyping this up, besides the one from Wednesday. I thought this was perfect. This was an amazing once in a lifetime match, which ended an era. And do you agree?
I do. Of course I do.
All right. So, with that said, Wrestler of the Night, Kenny Omega. Match of the Night, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page. All right, you want to answer a question or two?
Do a question.
Miriam asked, how does it feel being a non-WWE post-show? I'm excited to see the shift in the podcast going forward, but I wanted to ask you both how it feels to talk about a show that felt so satisfying at the end of it. And I'm going to say something a little bit controversial.
No.
I don't think it's as fun to talk about something like this, because
What?
there's less to talk
It's
about.
so much fun.
There's less to talk about. When something is so good.
Time tonight.
I had a great time watching it, but there's less to talk about. You know, if we're mad about something, if we're upset, we've got a lot to say.
I didn't feel disrespected.
It's a lot. It is a lot of fun to gush over the great wrestling, the great booking, and all that. And there will be some stuff that we are criticizing, like the fucking Inner Circle shit.
Yeah, there's plenty of shit for me to criticize with AEW, but like, first of all, to spend $50, to spend $50, to spend $50 on pay-per-view. It's so nice to be handed something that matters.
Yeah.
Something that's like good. As opposed to spending, I don't know, what do we spend? We spend like
$10 a month, is it, for Peacock?
maybe. Yeah, okay, so we're spending like a little bit more yearly on reviews if we just do AEW. It's so much more fun getting something that like we enjoyed, something that like felt worth it.
Yeah.
I was excited going into tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor Series is one of those things that like it's sitting in the back of my mind like.
Also, if you're listening on Spotify and you're wondering why Liz keeps cutting herself off, it's because she keeps glancing over at Battle in the Valley, which she said we would watch together.
It's literally just the Jay and Ishii match, okay? That's all I'm watching.
Oh, it's just you mean the fucking main event. It's just the main event. It's just the biggest match on the card that you're watching without me.
I'll rewatch it with you.
Oh, it's not the same.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyways, I really had a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we are getting the chance to do this, and I am looking forward to getting the opportunity to talk about more like fulfilling wrestling. Like I said, it's on paper, giving the person what they want seems like very bullshit and lazy. Like, spending money here. Please give me what I want. Don't assume that you know what I want.
But not to say that if we do end up doing the Sunday show, that we won't be talking about bad shows, because we could. New Japan puts on bad shows sometimes. And we might be talking about some WWE stuff. So, not to say we won't be still enraged with some bad booking. Might watch some GCW shows that could not be good. Who knows? But that's all the questions we have. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
Yeehaw, cowpoke. So, if you joined us tonight, thank you so much. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. We hope that you will join us for our Monday Night Raw podcast, which will be on Monday night. We are potentially shifting some things, so it might not always be like this, but we will be doing our Monday Night Raw podcast on Monday. So please join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun, and maybe a little less, crowd pleasing as this one was.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this, please follow and subscribe. And this coming Thursday, we gotta plug this real quick. A new episode of the Universal Pokemon Federation comes out on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoy either Pokemon, esports, or wrestling like competition, like entertainment based competition, or just like watching cool shit, the Universal Pokemon Federation combines all of that into wrestling mixed with Pokemon. It is something we've been working on for over a year now, and a new episode comes out. You won't want to miss it. Catch up on the last episode too.
I hosted the new episode, so
yeah. Liz is quadruple E, general manager of the UPF.
I hosted the new episode, and it took a lot of guts to do it on my part. So please enjoy it.
Yeah. This coming episode features a roll the dice battle with completely random teams between Rob and the mysterious Sonic Wizard. And that's all on, you can go to upfworld.com to find everything you need there. All right. So, our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. Our Spotify, search the Pinfall Podcast. If you want to join the live show, join us at twitch.tv/a Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter, at Pinfall Podcast, as you can see down below. I'm at the Mark Cameron, Liz is at Eliza Elaine23, and we'll see you on Monday to talk about Monday Night Raw. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you then.